Hello and welcome to this very exclusive roundtable discussion organized by ETCIO in association with SAS, Intel, and Inspira. My name is Mukbil Ahmed. I'm the executive editor at ETCIO and the moderator for the session. Friends, first of all, I wish and hope that all of you are safe and secure. These are indeed very, very uncertain times. Now, coming to the topic for today's discussion, we see and we would understand and also appreciate that today, for most organizations, it's a battle for survival and growth. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted businesses and economies in many unimaginable ways. And in such volatile circumstances, it is only the innovative streak which can distinguish between the winners and the also rans. In fact, organizations actually need to come up with unique and stellar ideas that can help them not only thrive but also grow. And having a strong data strategy is one of them. Now, enterprises, particularly those with legacy systems, will lag behind and face unprecedented disruptions brought about by the innovative use of technologies. Therefore, for today's discussion, we are focused on how data strategy implementation is a new way forward in this digital age and how it empowers all organizations to use internal as well as external data and help generate insights to move from reactive to proactive decision making. Whether your data is at the edge in your operations or in a disparate system, data strategy implementation allows you to sense important signals, understand what they mean, and take actions based on data. During this roundtable, the panelists will discuss how they are leveraging analytics and data insights for supply chain efficiency, optimization of the yield, and predictive maintenance solutions for operations optimization. And that too to eventually turn services into a profit center. Well, the discussion points today that we are going to explore are maximizing visibility through the whole supply chain to gain a heightened awareness of any potential supply chain risk, having better efficiency and profitability by predicting, detecting, preventing, and resolving quality and reliability issues, real-time analytics led insights leading to better performance, lower costs, efficiency gains, and reduced risks. Now, before we delve into a systematic round of discussions, I would request Sunny Desai, Senior Consultant, SAS, to make his presentation.
Thanks, Mukbil, and good afternoon, everyone. Trust to find you and yours all in the best of the health. Thank you all for joining us today and allowing us an opportunity to speak to you. Friends, our agenda for today is crisp and it's focused, and that is to share with you the story of our journey of last 44 years of hand holding our customers in their digital transformation and delivering business value for them through our advanced analytics offering at SAS. So in our journey, friends, we have always remained agile and we have embraced all the technological advancement that happened around us. Being curious, friends, is one of our core value. And this curiosity in the DNA of every individual at SAS can be seen or has always directed our solutions to be most innovative and advanced. And one of the proof that can be seen in Gartner's Magic Quadrant report, where advanced analytics platform solution from SAS has remained in the leadership quadrant in the last consecutive 8 years. This, friends, is one of our unique achievement. And let's go ahead now and let me introduce the advanced analytics solution to you all. So today, every organization around us is collecting enormous amount of data of their operations, quality, customers, raw material, transportation, and etc. This enormous wealth that our customers have is distributed, as we understand, in different data sources and is not easily accessible owing to different technologies. The first step that our advanced analytics solution does is to provide industry proven and robust connectors for most of the storage technologies. These connectors, friends, are inbuilt in our solution and reliably manages data movement with just few clicks of button. Some connectors support data transfer in batch and others support streaming feed of data. It will not be over to say whatever your data type, data volume, or data storage technology be, SAS has an inbuilt adapter and connector for it. Now, the interesting part is once we have the data that is available with us, what do we do with it? So once we have accessed the data, either advanced analytics solution can be run in memory, or if our customers wants to create a data warehouse, SAS connectors provides the flexibility to the customers to select their data warehouse technology. Some of the popular platforms that SAS supports is SAP HANA or Hadoop or any other technology that is needed. So SAS is basically agnostic to technology. What it does is it provides you reliable connections. Now, let's take the next step in the journey. We have all the necessary data available on a single platform in the most reliable way. Let's look at how does SAS enable data democratization. And this is one of the most important aspects that most of our customers and most of you also look in your industry today. So today, most of the decisions in a business are driven by data. Every business user is expected to analyze the data and suggest an action around it. The catch is the skill level of these business users. So everybody we want our team to analyze the data and come up with business decisions. But the important aspect is, does our team possess the necessary skills to analyze the data? So some business users may have advanced skills in digital technologies, but most of the business users would possess business specific skills, are not well proficient with digital technologies around data. And these users are expected to generate insights from the data that give a business edge against a competitor. Let's take an example. Does an expert in your supply chain team struggle to accurately sense market demand and give direction to your production team? Does your asset management experts find it difficult to generate early warnings of an impending fault? Or does your process expert takes longer time to identify a root cause of a quality issue? So if this resembles with your business conditions, let's take a look at how SAS Advanced Analytics solution solve this for you. The solution gives your business users the flexibility to use the data for a variety of different purposes. It can help them quickly build dashboards that monitors different KPIs, helps them analyze the data and generate insights for business decisions. They can create machine learning models that predicts and forecast business conditions, giving your team a leading indicator to a business opportunity, and also allows you to easily scale the data analytics from one product or a single asset to a complete enterprise-wide application. So not only SAS, friends, provides your users with the ability to analyze this data, but it also gives you flexibility to innovate and support them with innovative templates. This is a very crucial thing. So our solution supports you with innovative template around production quality analytics, around asset performance analytics, with computer vision templates and demand planning. So this is where the experience of SAS of last 44 years can play a very pivotal role in your digital transformation journey. Friends, today I will take you to 3 of the most popular analytic value scenarios for your businesses, which we believe are asset performance, quality management, and demand planning. So let's first start with asset performance. Let's look at what have we delivered for our customers when it comes to improving the asset quality. We help our customer increase their asset utilization, reduce maintenance cost, and improve their asset performance. So important question is, like, how do we do it? We do it by a cycle we call as predict, prescribe, proactive action, and prevent. So it's a 4P, which everybody would like to have in their businesses, and that is predict, prescribe, proactive action, and prevent. Our asset performance analytics solution help improve reliability of the assets by continuously looking for weak signs of deterioration that get unnoticed in day-to-day operation. It has helped our customers predict failures using the powerful machine learning engine which SaaS solution offers. Friends, I also want to add an important point here, that our prescriptive analytics solution has helped our customers achieve higher asset operating efficiency. So this is from an increasing asset utilization perspective. Today, when most of the businesses are thriving to reduce maintenance cost, right? We all are trying to do, how do we minimize some way the cost of operations? And from a maintenance perspective, it's reducing the cost of maintenance, leading to minimizing maintenance activities in the field. This optimization leads the businesses to an unfavorable condition of high risk of failure. We have helped our customers do this more scientifically. Our advanced analytics solution generate health score of individual assets based on their operating history and current operating condition. This health score, friends, and the measured deterioration in the health score help our customers get a targeted list of top bad actors with high probability of failure, leading to loss of revenue. Now our customer does not have to worry for all of their assets. They simply look at the top bad actors and avoid revenue losses. This also leads to less overtime, more efficient supply chain, effective maintenance, and lower risk of exposure to safety incidents. From asset performance analytics, let me take you a step ahead and discuss with you about how does SaaS help you improve your quality. So from a quality analytical capabilities of SaaS, we all understand the importance of quality in today's manufacturing scenario. The cost associated with poor quality leads underutilization of assets, low quality yield to scrap and rework. It also impacts the cost of warranty and service level penalties, which further leads to revenue losses. Now, SaaS offers a comprehensive solution of managing quality of your product. We support industry proven and traditional quality improvement strategies of defining, measuring, analyze, improve, and controlling the quality parameters, which is around Six Sigma. So our tool offers complete suite of analytical and visual capabilities required for this cycle. Additionally, we understand the importance of prediction in quality control, where our solution look at all the downstream and the upstream parameter, looking at the raw material quality, ambient condition, etc., and predict events of quality giveaways. So SaaS solution, what we do, we offer you a suite of process optimization tool where it is easier for you to model non-linear relationship between parameter, predict your quality upsets, and then take necessary action. This has helped our customers reduce cost of rework, scrap, labor and energy, and also increase throughput and increase productivity of the operations. From quality, let me take you to the last part, which we call as demand planning. Now, from a demand planning perspective, what does SaaS offer? So SaaS offer multitude of things. It starts from area where AI and machine learning is built in at every step, from sensing the demand from the field to generating your production plans. A solution helps you uplift your forecast accuracies by first segmenting your products in different categories and then using a different machine learning based forecasting technique for each category. And this is something unique that we deliver for you. SaaS demand intelligence solution, friends, offers a large variety of machine learning based algorithms that has the capability to accurately forecast demand for your new products and support a structured judgment process to define the best as like product for your new launch forecasting. The demand intelligence solution, friends, helps your S&OP team generate different plans such as production, source, shipment, manpower, etc. In this planning process, the important aspect is that SaaS solution offers a structured method of incorporating short-term demand sensing and consensus forecasting between your S&OP team. And this is something which has played a pivotal role in recent times. Let me take you to the last section, which is called as demand sensing. Now, one of the key difference that SAS can bring to your existing planning process to accurately sense demand and trends basis the actual sales happening in the field. SAS Solution Friends has the capability to integrate your daily point of sale data, your customer inventory, and generate real-time demand signals that helps minimize the forecast error. It also helps reduce the bias in the forecast and minimize volatility in the field. Such demand sensing solution has played a pivotal role for all our customers in last few years, owing to the global pandemic condition where demand and the supply chain has remained very fragile. Finally, with all this understanding, let me take you to a very quick product demo. So I have a video wherein I would like to demonstrate how the entire solution works. Let's start with looking at a scenario wherein I have manufacturing site at different locations within geographies. And then how do we identify which particular location is doing bad in terms of which manufacturing KPI? And then how do we work and how do we analyze what is it that is causing these challenges? So right now on the screen, what you see is what we call as the SAS Analytics for IoT solution. This Analytics for IoT solution is a very powerful tool that helps you analyze your data and find out value from it. So right now, if we see that there are different manufacturing units distributed geographically, and the red line indicates that there is some issue at all of these locations, and the green line and the green dot indicates that all of those manufacturing facilities are working okay. What we have done here is we have also marked some of the KPIs that could be important from manufacturing, like cost of quality, return on assets, and customer satisfaction. If we see right now on the screen, we see that all of these KPIs they seem to be pretty controlled. But when we go and click on one of the manufacturing unit here, we see that their cost of quality is high. And that cost of quality, when we further go and analyze, it helps us find out that there are total 5 different products. If we see all of the yield of all those 4 products are remaining higher than 75%, which further can be improved. But one product, which is that product number 4, the yield has gone down over a period of time. And now we want to analyze like why the yield is going down, what are all the top causes of it, and how do we analyze it. For that, we call something as the Analytics for IoT. When we go there, when we click on the tool, what we get is a data mart. Now this is an in-memory data mart, and this data mart helps you identify, first of all, create a complete hierarchy of your manufacturing locations. So it helps you select the data wherein you can say that, okay, these are top different locations, different site. Within the site, you have a plant. Within the plant, we can have different areas in the plant, and we can have n number of different assets and tags associated with those assets. So what we are doing here is that it provides you with the flexibility and easyability to select your data. Once you have selected the data, the next step now is to analyze them. So there are 2 types of analysis that the model suggests. One is what we call as streaming analytics, and the other, it helps you do the batch analysis. So if you want to compare the performance of 2 different batches, then the software solution helps you compare those batches and identify what are the top differences, what is the cause of one batch not performing good, and what are the early indicators of that. With this, let me take you to the next step, wherein now we analyze what is the overall data that we have, what is the distribution of the data, and this is a very interesting chart. So right now we are looking at a cement facility wherein we have identified 3 different scenarios. One is what we called as when the yield was low, when the yield was high, and when the yield was acceptable. If I click on when the yield was low, this chart helps me understand a pattern, like when the yield was always low. So these are the 3 critical operating conditions of your parameters. This may be around your kiln, this may be around your preheating facility, and then it tells you identify that when the operating conditions were lesser than some value, most of the time the yield was low. So it gives you a very clear visibility into what are the causes of your particular product quality going off spec. Going forward, it also helps you analyze a time series analysis of your production quality. Like when particular parameter is remaining above say 1350 and between 1400, for most of the period your yield is good. But when it is remaining less than 1350, your yield is not remaining good. Now we have a complete understanding of what are the quality parameters, what is impacting those quality parameters, and the next step now is how do you optimize your operation. So we have an inbuilt optimizer. This is a very interesting part of the demo here, wherein you can see that in this optimizer, what we see here is like we know what is the quality we want. So when you give the required amount of quality, the optimizer will suggest what should be the process condition, like what should be the temperature, what should be the flow, what should be other conditions with which you can basically optimize your quality. So these are some of the aspects, friends, that I wish to convey today from this demo. And finally, when we create a machine learning model that predicts this quality going off spec, we have a flexibility to deploy those models in real time on something what we call as event stream processing studio. And we also empower your business users wherein they don't have to write codes in order to generate machine learning model, but a pipeline structure, as can be seen on the screen right now, helps them create those machine learning model with just few clicks of button. And finally, let me share customer success stories for two of our recent customer. One is around demand planning. So we are very closely working with one of our customer in a paint industry, where the customer is using the capabilities of our demand intelligence solution to modernize their demand planning strategies. So the solution is helping them achieve high availability of products in store, and they have also adopted our low touch planning process. This is very interesting, friends, and I would be very happy to share with you details about what do we call as low touch planning process, helping them improve the revenues and effort required to manage the plan. And lastly, let me give you an example of a refinery. So this is a very key example wherein we are working with a public sector refinery, where our solution is helping them optimize their maintenance strategies, focus on uptime of their assets, and get a holistic view of their businesses and processes across the enterprise. And this is something which which is something which we wanted to share with you. Friends, that's all from us, from me today. I would be very happy to answer your queries. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sunny, for this comprehensive and elaborate presentation. Now, friends, let's wonderful. So let's dive straight into the panel discussion. But before that, let me point out that there is a dedicated question and answer session at the end, in which we will definitely endeavor to take up as many questions as possible. And just to spice up things for discussions today, we have a very interesting lineup of extremely knowledgeable and insightful panelists, all of whom are very senior technology professionals. Now, before we delve into a systematic round of discussions, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speakers for today. Mridul Sharma, Chief Operating Officer, Arca FinCap Limited, formerly known as Kirloskar Capital. Nikhil Chaturvedi, EVP and Global Chief Digital Officer, JSW Group. Vivek Khanna, Executive President and CIO, Polycab. Ravi Kala, Head IT, Anthem Biosciences. Nabuat Khan, Practice Head, Manufacturing and IoT Analytics, SAS. And last but not the least, Mausam Hajela, Business Development Manager, Inspira. Now, coming first to my technology friends, and particularly coming to Ravi. So, Ravi, to your own mind, we have spoken about the need for data strategy. How important do you think is a data strategy, particularly in the light of digital transformation of enterprises?
Any organization, data is very, very important. Without data, you can't, understand what is your customer needs, how do I optimize my, or how do I optimize my uh, raw material consumptions or material inputs, or how do I improve my process productivity, and how do I make better, profits, especially in pharma and life sciences. The data is very critical. The data sits in across all the verticals or all the there are silos. How do I get the data into a single data lake, and then do the analytics and try to understand how the data, the product is behaved from R&D to manufacturing, understand the difficulties and challenges. So every company will have their own data strategy, and it's very, very important to do the data is very important for digital transformation. Without data, it is very difficult to transform or bring the analytics into your business. And especially in pharmaceutical, we have silos of data, and getting into a single data lake is always challenge, unless until you do the shop floor automation, bring the data into one single lake, and then start doing analytics and try to understand how the product is behaving it, or why the batches are failing, why the product yields are less, and what is the demand, or what are the diseases are spreading, how do I handle epidemics, especially COVID kind of thing, how do I speed up the drug discovery. So for everything, you need a data, and you need to collaborate across the organization. So unless until you have a strong data strategy, it is very difficult. Especially if you look at it, vaccine, any typical vaccine, it will take 5 to 10 years to come to the market. Today we are seeing in 18 months or 12 to 18 months the vaccine is released. It How it is possible? Unless until the organization has a data strategy, or they have a strong collaboration with internal and external, with regulatory kind of collaborations. So it is very, very vital and very important for any organization to have a data strategy, to convert or to connect the data with people and processes.
Right, right, right. Thanks, Ravi, for your extremely energetic response. And now I would request Nikhil to shed some light on this subject and share his thoughts with us.
Hello to
No, but
everyone, and thanks Mukbil and ETCIO team for organizing this very important topic. As you may have heard earlier, people often say data is the new oil. Now we should say data is the new energy, because oil is getting replaced by renewable energy and all sorts of energies now. So data is the foundation. Basically, it's the extremely important component of any IT architecture or digital architecture. But when we say data strategy, what does it encompass? So in my opinion, there are four important components to it. First of all, we need to have clean data, a single version of truth, as we say. And in every organization, we have grown over the years, so multitude of applications have come into being. Each application comes with own data table structure, proprietary platforms, etc. So we have a vast variety of data available in this system. So that brings us to the next step, where we need to integrate data available in various applications available across the organization. Thirdly, then we need to do this data assimilation and organization, for example, in form of data warehouses or data lakes, etc. And fourthly, very importantly, we need to leverage this data by having the right data intelligence and analytics platform. So, for example, we saw the SAS presentation just now, which explained how data intelligence can be useful in terms of organizational decision making, quality control, etc. So, to summarize, my recommendation is that we need to look at the data holistically, very comprehensively, and from a long-term perspective, not just make short-term arrangements or steps by implementing some point applications and then struggling with the integration of that data. So very important topic, and especially in the context of supply chain and operations and quality, as you mentioned, and I'm sure we'll have very fruitful discussion on this.
thank you. Thanks, Nikhil. Wonderful inputs and a recurring theme, which has, of course, as you rightly pointed out, we need a long-term vision for as far as data strategy is concerned and look at it in a very holistic fashion. Those are very pertinent points. And one more recurring theme, which has emerged out of what Nikhil and Ravi said before, is how do you put it in various formats like data lakes and all of that, and which again is going to help enterprises a lot in really strategizing their approach towards data. Now, coming to Mridul. Mridul, you have heard the technology leaders before, talk about, the importance. Now, bringing in some specificities into our discussion today, what role do you think a strong data strategy can play in optimizing, something like supply chains for enterprises of today?
My response to that, Mukbil, is that this is something which we as a nation lack. So if we have to be competitive, we talk of, being really, getting our quotient up on manufacturing. If we look at the ground, especially small, medium, or even large enterprises, today data, series is not available. So if we look at the West, you had certain SCADA, MES, and other systems where at least time series has been stored. While I would say basic computerization of processes happened in our industry for the last 20-30 years, but you don't have any reliable data series on which you can now go in and say, okay, I will analyze what has happened in the past and I'll optimize my future. So first point is, how do we start creating the right data that actually helps us analyze into the future? Right now, steps are happening in this area, but that's key to any, as Mr. Kalla also said, that if you don't have that, you cannot take database decisions. You cannot really analyze it. Even if you have data, in many cases, the quality is so circumscribed that you can't actually put any machine learning and other models to place because they will not yield anything. Right. So either the velocity of the data or the quality of data is not good enough. So for, if you ask me, it is whether it is financial services industry, and I'll take the example of banks also, right? Today, banks, you can say that they have a huge amount of data on their customers. But why is a fintech is, coming in and trying to kind of, do a disruption in this area is basically because while they had it, they had no data strategy in place to actually analyze what is actually happening in customers' life and play a part on that basis. Right. So it is more transactional data that is there, but they have not really analyzed or, had a data strategy in place where they can have a single source of truth and be able to kind of give something of value to the customer. Right. Many times you would have felt that, you were holding certain relationship with certain banks, but do they really realize that kind of relationship and do they treat you that way? Right. Same for any other product also, or a service that we actually give out. So if you ask me, this is very, very important for us to be competitive. The culture of data quality, culture of data strategy, or to really have analytics in the right way is very, very feeble in all our disciplines. And it is high time now, stuff starts happening, because see, technology on top can do the job provided you feed in the right raw material. If the raw material itself is, not of the right quality, you can put the best technology, it will give you nothing. It's junk in, junk out. Right. So that's my view on data, data strategy, to actually have those data stored with the right quality, right velocity, veracity of the data, so that you can actually get some truth out of it.
Correct. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And this also has been a recurrent theme, about the quality of data. Vivek, would you like to add something to this?
So basically, data strategy, if you ask me, that is, as everybody is saying, people's are, as of now, they are lacking. So data strategy is nothing but which basically defines the path organization has to take to organize or make use of their organized as well as unorganized data. In fact, it is unorganized, it is the major one, because organized in any case, people are using maybe of ERP, maybe of SEM, maybe of all other digital tools. But it is the unorganized data or the third-party data, which are lying, or even if it is lying in their own organization, it is lying in these different silos. So how to consolidate that and make a use of that. So that is the basically one has to have that strategy to how to use and consolidate that data to make a best of it or to make a best benefit to the organizations. As Mridul also says, that harnessing of it, and Nikhil says that the cleaning of it. So all these are the basic things. In fact, when it is getting generated, to my mind, though ERP has a good, you can say the good data, but there are many times what happens that the maybe implementation or maybe something else. So it also have some junk data also. So one should take care of that, that wherever it is getting generated, it should be get clean up, or it has some self-cleaning system, so that when it is getting consolidated and going back to the concerned users after harnessing or after consolidating, it should give is some values or some good basically guideline or something knowledgeable information. So strategy, it has to be first, which is from where the things start. So one has to define the strategy.
Thanks a lot, Vivek, for summarizing the discussion that we have had till now. And now going back to Nikhil, so Nikhil, to your mind, what is the significance of something like real-time analytics-led data-driven insights? And how can all this be keyed into the operations side?
So as you know, we at JSW, we are an asset-intensive industry company, like steel, cement, ports, power generation, etc. So it's heavily asset-intensive, and operations and maintenance are one of the most important functions for us. So this data-driven insights is really a very important topic for us. And what we often discuss is that, does big data always mean big insights? Actually, what we realized was that it's not. It depends upon how good is your data quality and how good are your algorithms to actually derive insights out of the data. So what we are doing here is that, there is, first of all, we are working on this IT and OT integration. IT and OT integration, as in the information technology, which is on the business side, ERP systems, etc., and OT, as in the operations technology for your level 1, level 2, level 3 process automation systems in the plant. So with that backbone of IT and OT integration, we have worked on operational intelligence and business intelligence integration, which is like providing a unified set of dashboards and information insights to our decision makers on both from the business world, like financial information, inventory information, sales information, employee information, and combined it with the operational information related to downtime or throughput and production, etc. So we had several options. We could have used automation companies software for doing that integration, or ERP companies software for doing the integration. We preferred an ERP based integration because there's host of information available in a single SAP ERP over here, whereas there are several types of process automation systems in the plant. So achieving that homogeneity was not possible. We have achieved that level of integration, and later on, I will also share some more insights with you about what benefits we have derived. So, but doing that foundational work of integrating your OT and IT is of paramount importance.
Great. So this is one of the subjects which is very close to my heart as well. This entire edifice of integration, of integrating seamlessly the IT side as well as the OT side. And Ravi is amongst us today, and Ravi is one of the strongest proponents of this kind of integration. Ravi, would you like to add to what Nikhil said?
Yeah, I just want to add a few points, Mukbil. Right, I mean, we started the ITOT integration journey in 2014.
Yes, I'm absolutely aware of that.
Yeah. So I head the IT operations as well as the OT operations at Anthem. When it comes to OT operations, as Nikhil said, is very difficult because you have multiple OEMs, and integrating them is always a challenging because they come with the different, the futures or different options, and it's very difficult. What we did is we eliminated the SCADA layers and PLC layers, and we brought a centralized architecture where every equipment, like there are 1,000 equipments in our factory, is part of this process, be it a process vessel, be it a bioreactor, fermenter, or any other vessel, clean utilities, black utilities, or building management system. Because in pharma, the receipt of the material or the storage of the material is also is very important. Otherwise, you may get a less yield, or the batch can fail if it is not stored in ideal conditions. So what we did is ITOT strongly coupled, and we got all the data in a real-time manner. The shop floor guy or the operator knows what is exactly is happening at the upstream or downstream process, or the utilities, how they're behaving it. And also we brought minimum amount of AI and ML kind of thing. So the sequences or the manufacturing process won't start unless until we have a required utilities, or they're operating at a as per the process requirements. So this is what we did it, and it is really tough to integrate it unless until there is a top-down approach from organization as well as the vendor community. Because in pharma, if you go to shop floor, you will see at least 40 to 50 different type of vendors. So how do you integrate each one system? Because they're all proprietary and very difficult to get the the integration aspects, because you have a stringent qualification process. So that's why always pharma operates in a silos. So instead of operating in silos, to get the real-time data into the production shop floor, we have integrated all the aspects of pharma, be it starting to end point. We integrated with ITOT in 2015. Now really it has helped us to do and understand how the product is behaving in the shop floor, bring the we brought a lot of analytics out of it, and we optimize the entire processes.
Right, wonderfully.
Mukbil, sorry for interrupting
no
here,
problem.
but I
Feel
think
free.
it's a really relevant point what Raviji has mentioned here. It's easier said than done. We can in one line say have an integrated landscape, but in reality, when you do it, for example, we have 10 steel plants, and I'm not talking about cement and power and all other businesses. Within steel, there are 10 steel plants. Every steel plant has multiple units. Every unit has subunits. Every subunit will have an L1 system, a different vendors L2 system. Some don't even have L3 level system. Some are very old plants which don't have automation. So how do we bring them in an integrated bus where that create an integrated layer? That itself is an Herculean task. So my message to all the participants and audience is start early. Please make a long-term plan, make a stage-wise plan. If we start now, probably we can finish it in 8 to 10 years. But if we think that everything will happen like a utopian stage, it will not happen. So start small, start early, but start at least.
Yeah, to add to Nikhil, Mukbil, to add to Nikhil, it is really not easy to start the entire shop floor to integrate at a single instance. It may be long-term vision, and you have to push all your vendors, or you have to demand all your vendors to to support and bring into a centralized architecture. So I started 2015. It took 5 years to convince most of the vendors. Today, even a few of them are not agreed. This is all proprietary in nature, and they don't want to give it up, because if it's only vessel or dump kits they supply, they lose revenue, or they they don't want to do that because it's their business model. So it is very difficult to bring 30-40 vendors and bring the data into the as you need it.
I can see a lot of very common pain points.
And sometimes these proprietary software owners will threaten that if you do it now, then it is your own risk.
Yeah.
That's also true. And I think that also, this thing also probably stems from the fact that the entire technology landscape, I mean, particularly in industries like, steels or manufacturing, pharma, all of that, it is so complex and labyrinthine. And as Nikhil rightly pointed out, with many components which are very old, needing to be integrated into something which is very new and latest. Actually, it is actually hell of a job, which is very, very difficult. I couldn't agree more with you. So, sticking on to you, Ravi, would you like to give some examples where data-driven insights have led to better performance, costs, savings, efficiency, etc.?
There are plenty. I can share. We were part of one of the product which is used widely in COVID. I mean, there were old SCADA system which is used which is supplied by vendor. We had some issues when we converted into our DCS, and then we started getting a lot of data, and which helped us actually to find out the bottlenecks, and to address those bottlenecks, we really did a quick R&D, and then we could able to achieve, and we became a global supplier, and we were part of the that particular drug. And that is one key aspect. And second, we are doing a lot of continuous batch manufacturing. We understand where are the bottlenecks in the conventional manufacturing. So this helped us actually to address in the continuous batch manufacturing systems. So significantly, the huge savings, like, operator can find what exactly is happening before the material is moved to the area, and you can find the insights about the previous and as well as what is going to be available on the downstream process. That's very, very important in the continuous batch manufacturing, or especially in the pharma, we have multiple layers of operations. So every operator understands what is happening in previously and what is going to available next. So that has helped us to significantly save the batch failures. And also we know what all utilities are going to be always busy. Say, for example, there are certain testing equipments are always occupied. So that created a bottleneck. So how we can improve those bottlenecks is also, can be drawn from these kind of layers. I totally agree with Nikhil. All vendors, threatened, like, if you do it on your own, or if you want to bring it to your own architecture, most of the vendors says we are not responsible for any delays or any, the system performance. They are not responsible. That's what happens, right?
I see a lot of agreements here.
Yeah.
A very good, a very good feature of this discussion. But I wish we had some disagreements as well to spice up matters. Now, going to Mridul and bringing him into the discussion. So Mridul, you have heard Nikhil also and Ravi also. They have really spoken at length about their pain points. To your mind, what challenges do enterprises face, while they are trying to leverage data, particularly with respect to supply chain and the operations teams?
So, continuing on what I said before, and, definitely there is an agreement what Nikhil also said, that first thing is to get your data into one place, right? So I've heard, their approaches, and I think, they've tried to do their best. And yes, I agree, it's not something that you can just wave a magic wand and get it all in place. Especially for enterprises who have got history, right? If you're doing something de novo, you can always put something in, place, keeping today's available things and start building on that. So if today, for example, I talk of my financial services business, from the very beginning, we put some data strategy in place. And even when you are starting doing very small numbers, there is at least a daily update into a data mart of, what is the data stamping I need to do, so that maybe 3 years down the line, that data is of value to me, that I can analyze that, right? But what about, for example, Kirloskar Group's 100-year-old, ecosystem, which has seen still a large part of the shop floor which is not connected to anything. There's still manual, CNC and other machines, process P1, P2 equipment, which does not generate any data, right? And then what the problem they talked of, if I've got any of the modern age CNC and other equipment, then, you have this threatening stances where they don't want to open it up and, want to get it connected, right? So both these scenarios, are existing. What I also see is that at the plant levels, the plant managers have tried to optimize to a level of what they think, what they can do. And somewhere definitely that is the expertise that they hone at their level, and that is their importance in the system. The moment you try to also say, okay, I will have a data-based approach, and it will try to now further refine what human beings could achieve, there's definitely the change management and the human threat element also involved in that, which basically also then has an impact on how much people want to participate and share the knowledge that they have of the shop floor, and so that these models actually take that into account, right? So it is a mix. It is of getting, I would say, yes, the IT/OT integration in place, connecting the assets which are not generating data, and if you connect them, getting the right time series in place so that you can analyze after some point in time and get some insights out of that, right? Then to have also the strategy that what is actually happening on the edge, and what is it that you want to do centrally. Because in most old cases, what has happened is SCADA or MES system, every plant, every physical location had its own store, right? And if you have this same group, various entities within that, you will find that many of them actually the flavor is different of one from the other. So if you want to, for example, look at a group level performance and you want to have certain common KPIs, the data assimilation also happened to that extent that you can have the same KPI measured the same way in real time for all the entities, right? So standardization of data then comes into being, right? But I think yes, there is some now science to this madness. So one is that there are definitely technological cloud, and other paraphernalia available, which was not available 10 years back, which you can actually put to use in a very, very, I would say, frugal basis. You will still have the challenges of trying to connect to a lot of stuff and getting data in real time and then to standardize it. But yes, I think there is definitely hope. And as we move into the future, if we really talk of industry 4.0, then this actually becomes very, very important, because unless the data is in place and data strategy is in place, you really cannot make an industry 4.0 impact, where you're trying to connect everything. You're trying to connect your society, and you're trying to connect your supply chain, and you're trying to connect your smart cities and your manufacturing and utilities together. So that can only be possible if everybody is actually speaking the same language. If not, the dialects can be different, but at least there has to be a common language that you can understand.
There has to be a common language. Very well.
Dialects can be different, right? So dialects can still be different. Yeah.
Well, India is a land of diversities where languages change every 10 kilometers.
Yeah, but you're still able to understand,
I think
right?
We have this knack of dealing with various variations and dialects.
Yeah.
Very well put. Summarizing what Mridul said here, that it's easier said than done. But yes, there is hope at the end of the tunnel. There are solutions. There are ways to work out this problem. Vivek, bringing you into the discussions, would you like to add on to what Mridul just spoke about?
Basically, yes, it is easier said to done. Practically, it is to be done because first, definitely the challenge is to have the all variety of data at one place, and that too in a very filtered manner, and that too a legitimate or correct manner. And secondly, the understanding. My experience, I just give you one experience that we people did one thing and the system has given out the output, especially it is a supply chain, but the user was not accepting it. It is saying it is not going into or not gelling into what exactly he has in mind. So basically, though after going into more detail, everything he says, yes, system is giving the correct decision of what should be produced and how much a quantity and what shall be the tenor. But otherwise, the challenge comes up that the system start giving you the data. Then many times user says that, okay, I need to check it up, and checking of all those data is a mammoth task. So that also opens up another debate, especially in the case of I know because in SAS also when demand all the algorithm and the equation through that the keeping in view whatever the forecasting is there, and that much amount of the quantity should be produced by the factory. So many times manufacturing head says that, oh, it is saying it is not giving me any enough data to enough production quantity to run my plant. So I'm simply, should I shut down my plant? So, and or another day he says it is loading me like anything. So that is also comes up with where definitely the user has to have a faith over that, and then start believing it, and then start acting over it. So it takes
Absolutely.
times.
True. I
So
couldn't
this
agree
is
more
one. This
with
is a very
you.
small example, but definitely it also through challenge, especially on the IT teams when they have to explain or they have to dig out each one single case. So in case of a big data or in case of any algorithms, I think Ravi or Sunny basically from SAS, they can how much difficult it to explain that thing of you explain one item code
Yes,
that okay
yes.
this will be there, but
Absolutely,
then it
absolutely.
comes down the email ko to wo baki ka bhi you have to tell me that.
True.
So that
Very
is
well put,
the thing.
Vivek. Very well put. And till now we have had a pretty exhaustive and comprehensive discussion on the challenges, which are there as enterprises try to harness the power of data. And so, going more towards the solution side, and for this, I would like to turn to Mr. Nabuat Khan from SAS. So, Nabuat, you have heard all these tech leaders speak. So, to your own mind, how can data insights lead to maximizing visibility, particularly through the supply chain, and help organizations get better awareness of, potential risks, etc.?
Fair enough. Now, I've heard everyone, right? I'm just going by the names, and in fact, going with the order that I see on the screen right now. So, thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Mradil, Vivek, and Ravi. Thank you for your valuable insights. In fact, you all pointed out about critical problem statement, that is data acquisition. And there were a couple of lighter notes as well which spoke about dialect changing every 10 minutes. I'll add a little more flavor to it. Food also changes every 10 kilometers, right? So the taste of the food also changes every 10 kilometers. Now again, even if it is a same family living 10 kilometers away, the recipe is followed same, right? Even then, when you try to taste the food again tastes different in the same house. Now, why am I trying to get this particular lighter note is because I heard Nikhil talking about the vast asset heavy equipments that JSW has, right? And there are multiple manufacturing facilities, multiple asset intense facilities out there. And within the single manufacturing entity, there are tons of vendors that are already sitting in form of the OT landscape. And when we talk about integrating all of them, again, that's a challenge. When we talk about getting data ready from them or pulling out of the data, or in fact, getting the data out is the biggest challenge. Right? So we've heard of all of these aspects. Now, what is important, we all understand, given the scenario that we all know for a fact that data is the premise. If we don't have data, we will not be able to do any transformation whatsoever. Now, having heard that and having said this again, where does SaaS come into play? Let me try and add some light. Right? So data acquisition is a biggest roadblock. Even when we go and meet out clients, esteemed clients like you, all that we hear is we are not integrated. We don't have data which is needed for demand analytics to come. That's where again, somebody from the panel again spoke about saying we need to start small. Let's not boil the ocean. Right? Let's start small. Now, what has SaaS done as an approach in this particular landscape? If everyone is aware that SaaS has actually transformed itself over a period of time. Right? It's not a legacy-based old traditional system that we are carrying with. We are on the latest technology aspects and the architectural aspects right now. And we've launched a product called as Via, which comes with a host of adapters and connectors which are fully bundled within the software. That is the adapter and the connector landscape layer, which will help the organizations pull the data out. Right? So the challenge is communicating and connecting to the OT layer. The challenge is getting the data out of a SCADA or MES or be it a historian system, right? So why do we face this challenge? This challenge is not because the OEMs are not giving us the data. The challenge here is because we don't have the right set of connectors or the right set of adapters to connect to the host system and pull the data out. That's where SaaS actually steps in, right? That's the base premise. And if I link this back to what Sunny was sharing earlier, if I recall, it was his slide number 2, where he spoke about pulling data from standalone systems to sensors, to Excel files, to MES, to SCADA, and multiple other icons that we share on the screen. Right? So that's our stepping stone. And that's where I will say, once we are able to establish that connection and get some data out, even from a single asset, and then link it back to the top layer. So all that we are doing is we're connecting to the system, getting the data out, and tying that data back to the business value, which is the most critical aspect again. So unless and until you don't tie it back to an organizational leader's KPI dashboard, connecting, getting the data out will not take us anywhere. It has to be an organizational goal. Am I impacting any of my critical layers? Am I impacting, or am I actually increasing my profitability for my shareholders, or am I decreasing my operational costs? What exactly is it? Or am I actually going ahead and ensuring that I'm providing the right set of products that are needed at the right time? Right? So those are the aspects. So critical KPIs need to be mapped out. When we are talking about starting small, always pick and choose an asset which is directly linked to a business value generation. Get the data out, start formulating a strategy in terms of how will you impact that critical KPI, and then start moving. Right? So that's the journey that SaaS also talks about when we speak to the esteemed clients, like everyone here on the panel list and the participants and the attendees as well. Right? So we'll have to lay that particular landscape, start small, get the data out, start tying it back to the business value, and start it. That's how I'll answer that, Mukbil.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Naboth. Now coming to bringing Mausam into the discussions. Mausam, what are some of the challenges that you've seen in the adoption of a smart data analytics strategy, and how can Inspira help in mitigating them?
Well, I would say that I'm sure you would have heard enough and more challenges already by the distinguished panel members here on the event. I would like to just add from our own experience, right? From a system integration organization, we do come across a lot of unclear goals of the customers also. By that, what I would like to add is what happens at times, people have in this, I would say, short messaging services age, right? The SMS age, people like to see the results very fast. However, as even the panel members also mentioned, data strategy implementation is end-to-end, it has to be curated with time intervals. And with each time interval, there has to be a distinguished goal, right? One of the major things that happens is connect everything, put it into a repository. That should not be the right, that's not the right step towards a data strategy implementation. Start small, break it down. What is it that you need now from all the data sources? Qualify your data sources, identify the right pieces, put them into the repository, and start getting some results out of it, rather than looking at a big bang approach. That is exactly what we are, facing, or I would say, from an unclear goal perspective, is what we are, experiencing with our end customers. Along with that, I'm sure we have heard enough and more about data quality issues. I can have my own spelling being misspelled and stored in 10 different data sets, right? And then what happens is the end customers eventually say that, how am I supposed to do all this when I have so many different systems working in silos, and they're still working, right? It's not like they're not working. I am able to make insights out of it. Our answer to that is the data strategy implementation, or the entire data analytics space. You need to come down to certain level of maturity-based systems. I'm sure SAS or Naboth will be able to add to that also, where the data quality can now be managed with certain systems very well. I can, usually what happens is a lot of organizations tend to put in the checks before the data is stored into the warehouse, right? But then it's not so. You can actually do a post analysis of the data also.
you can put in many fuzzy logic systems, right, in order to identify that particular golden record and then put it into your data mart. So disparate data sources, data quality management, not just from a business analytics point of view, but also from the OT systems, right? When I talk about OT systems generate a lot of noise. I'm sure a lot of, everybody here would agree to that. How do you take away those noise is where the system integration area comes into play, right? So lack of clear goals, disparate data sources lead eventually to data governance issue. I have so much of data coming in, not just from a quality issue, but also acceptance of the end users. It is a drive, it's a strive of the distinguished, digital officers, CIOs, CISOs in the organization to empower their own end users in order to start utilizing the analytics that is driven out of the particular system. But then we've also seen that as in fact, even Vivek sir was mentioning that, the acceptance of the users to come out of their traditional mindsets is a huge challenge. I would like to conclude it there.
Right. We're trying to conclude this discussion very quickly and going back to Nabuat. Nabuat, last 30 seconds, how you can help, and then last 30 seconds to Mausam on how you can help.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mukbil. So, ladies and gentlemen, see, the only aspect that I'll try and paint is like what you've heard from the esteemed panelists. You need to start this journey somewhere. And when you're starting this journey, don't try to boil the ocean. Let's start small. Right? So that's the basic premise that I'll talk about. When you're talking about starting small, look at your data collection strategies to begin with. Look at defining out the key business goals. Look at what exactly does your business need. Do you have a set of business users who are just looking for reporting? Then you can think about just diverging towards looking at a visualization kind of thing. Or is the business actually a little advanced where they want to go ahead with the predictability features? Let's try to look at that particular perspective and that time. And if the business is actually on a real-time decision-making engine, right? Or if the organization is looking towards taking decisions on a real-time data feed coming in, let's try to pivot that particular area, right? So there are 4 different aspects. One is start from your data collection strategies, go to your visualization. If at all it is only the visualization, then look for predictability, and then look for real-time and the prescriptivity. Right? So that's how you'll have to divide this out. Go stage-wise rather than saying, I just want to go ahead and be in the prescriptive zone as of today, while I don't even know that whether the data will support my prescriptivity. Right? So that's the key differentiation that you guys need to make before the next step is immediately taken.
Absolutely. Start small, learn to crawl before you try to fly. Very well put. Nabuat, Mausam, 30 seconds to you.
Absolutely. So my simple answer to that is a managed analytics services program. Eventually, as part of the managed analytics service program, what we have also created as a practice is of analytics as a service issue, right? So when you talk about managed analytics services, it's not just technology component that is being implemented. You need to have the domain expertise, right? You need to get in the people, process, technology implementation in place. Even if you're starting small, right? Even if you've picked up, a handful of CFO team members, I would say, in order to show them a particular output, you need to train them from at least to a level of slicing, dicing the data, right? So what exactly can be done by a lot of organizations is to start inorganically. You can have a managed analytics services program provider, just like Inspira, to be there in terms of talent management and also to grow inorganically while having the MASP to grow organically, grow your team organically too, right? When I talk about inorganically, basically you become, the SIs eventually become the center of excellence for that particular organization while imparting the actual analytics knowledge into the in the actual functional teams, right? And helping them grow organically too. So absolutely, that's my small piece of advice. Go for and manage analytics service.
Wonderfully put, Mausam. Thanks a lot for your inputs. And now I would request Vikram Chauhan, Head of Enterprise and Government Business, Intel India, for his presentation. But before that, I must thank my technology friends here who have been most frank, most honest, and really came up with their pain points. Over to you, Vikram.
Mukpil, I would just like to add one point here. While Mridul and Vivek and I may have sounded very negative or gloomy, and then Mausam and Nabuat came, but guys, audience, please remember the questions were loaded and they were more about problems. Okay, but I would like to say, like in JSW also, we have over the last 4 years, we have achieved around $180 million of benefits through digital transformation, out of which largely it has been supported by data. Otherwise, we would not have been able to do it. So while there are problems, but we are working on solutions with tech companies like SAS and
Of
Inspira.
course.
Yeah.
Having
Thank
a
you.
veteran like you should translate into solutions at the end of the tunnel. Wonderfully put. I completely agree with you, Nikhil. The questions were loaded against you. So the audience would definitely get that aspect of the conversation.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot, gentlemen, for your valuable insights and your valuable time. I know you have done us a great favor by taking time out of your busy schedules. Over to you, Vikram.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome once again to ET Roundtable. Oh boy, I think some amazing insights and inputs from our distinguished panelists. All of them shared their views and visions on database decisioning and some very interesting use cases, also including the quality of data, specifically around ITOT integration, etc. And also nice to see a few of the familiar faces. I used to very frequently interact with Mridul during his Indus stint. So Mridul, great to see you again. So I really have enjoyed this discussion. If we could have done it face to face, the so-called conventional way. But at the same time, let me compliment this Times group. It's quite amazing that what technology has enabled us today, virtually, but yet seamlessly. We've got this integration in this digital platform, and really great to interact with all of you. Now, quickly coming to my today's session, what I would try and touch upon is on three key aspects. One, we would like to cover upon Industry 4.0, right from edge intelligence to cloud, covering the complete spectrum, right, leading to autonomous manufacturing. That's a end goal that everybody aspires. The second is what are the results which are there in the real world. Otherwise, a lot of discussion tends to be more of a theoretical, confined to the boardroom or the discussion room or the panel. So we'll try and touch upon what are the real world results, what are the proven use cases that we at Intel, along with our partners, have seen across industries. And third, but not the least, would be latest Intel technologies and why Intel SAS partnership along with Inspira is so critical. So let's dive into it right away. Today, if you look at the fourth industry revolution, or what we call Industry 4.0, what it essentially does, it brings the digital and physical technologies together, right? And creates a responsive and interconnected operation. If you look at the chart, right from your supply chain, which essentially is visibility of material and movement for it, to smart factories, where typically we use machine visualization and predictive maintenance. Today, enterprises are using various technologies, and I think most of the panel members spoke about artificial intelligence. There was discussion on robotics, edge computing, cloud, and it really helps us to make more informed and timely decision. Today, if you really look at the solutions that are designed for, say, industrial IoT or what we call IIoT, it essentially what it does is connect sensor to edge devices, and this at the end of the day really helps improve the product quality, but also factory efficiency in real time. Now, Intel, along with ecosystem partners like SAS, what it does is we provide secure and scalable building blocks for industrial IoT solutions. And that really brings intelligence to your operating assets and reveals what you call insights from data. Now, best part is if you look at it, and I know a lot of people touched upon the proprietary or legacy one, where people threaten saying you are on your own. Contradictory, what Intel does is Intel brings the solution which are built on open standards, right? And it really allows extensive ecosystem to partner and helps you choose the best of the breed applications with confidence, right? And as a customer, what you finally get is a potentially, what Norbert was also mentioning, potentially a lower maintenance cost, a new business opportunities, and incredibly high productivity, right? So let's shift gears and get into data platforms and see what is our end path in terms of getting to autonomous manufacturing. But before we go there and get into autonomous manufacturing, I think let me try and quickly spend a couple of minutes in terms of data. And as I think Nikhil specifically mentioned, saying data is new oil, and now we talk data is gold. And I like the point saying data is new energy and sort of the conventional energy that we speak about, right? But if you look at the data, today data is growing at an astronomical rate, and there are tons of statistics available. But what I know saying today, 90% of world's data was created in last 2 years. And today we have close to around 40 trillion GB of data. And there are going to be 50 billion plus devices which are there, so on and so forth. But the analytics and artificial intelligence, including machine and deep learning, holds the key to unlocking this valuable insight, right? However, if you really dwell deeper, more than 99% of today's data still remains in dark, right? It has not been analyzed. And only handful of organizations are really shining most of the light. The fact is that analytics and AI can be daunting, but actually they don't have to be, right? The point I'm trying to make here is keeping up with data is today's challenges, but mind you, it is as well an excellent opportunity. So here we're not looking or talking about volume of data, but I think where Sunny also mentioned, we're talking about veracity of the data, velocity of the data, and variety of the data. Now, when we talk about veracity, we're talking about the data uncertainty that we have, right? We spoke about the quality piece. Velocity obviously denotes the speed at which the data is created. And third, of course, with variety, there are a lot of different kind of sources, right? You've got structured data, unstructured data, industrial data, sensor-based data, and really to get that augmented and getting them on a unified platform can be a very daunting task. But it's very important here to consider a couple of factors to really achieve the flexible architecture that we are talking. When we integrate all this data, is in terms of data access across organization. So let me try and quickly touch upon few of this. Now, typically when you look at the data, the digitization journey can be, I think, 3 steps or maybe 4 steps. What people talk about ingest and prepare is the first step. The second is analyze, and third is act, right? If you look at the first piece, which is there on the left-hand side, is the data ingestion and preparation, right? Across all data sources, get every data which is possible from your sources. And this, what we call sensing of the data, right? Today, if you look at most of the modern enterprises, today are tapping into data both inside the organization as well as outside the organization and joining this data together for analysis. And this really helps us in terms of leading to better insight. Basically, today, what we do is we're talking about visualization tools that connects the unconnected. Basically, we're sensing and visualizing the data. The second piece of the puzzle, and which is the most critical one, is the right action for the data. Now, once we have a data, we move into understanding the data and start driving intelligence from it, right? It could be around, say, condition monitoring, or it could be around predictive maintenance, to name few. However, not all the data, if you remember what Sunny mentioned a very interesting point, and what he said, they saying all data may not be ingested or may be used in real time, right? So let's take a thoughtful approach. It could be streaming, or it could be a batch-wise data, right? Or batching the data. However, the most businesses that benefit is from availability of streaming data. But it is completely up to you and based on your priority, whether the data is based on the expiration date, as well as critical part is how much data is critical in terms of getting analyzed. The third aspect is the analytics and outcome, which we talk about saying prescriptive action, right? So you got sense of the data, you analyze the data, and now comes the outcome. What is the prescription action that we have? Now, armed with the intelligence that we have from this data, the automation can be bought across specific operations, right? Within the factory floor, or it could be through AI-driven deterministic control. We achieve I specifically remember what Nikhil mentioned. Can we achieve the utopian state where factories become completely autonomous, be it steel, maybe cement, or maybe whatever factories that we are talking about, where it becomes self-learning and adapting continuously. Now, typically, if you look at all the 3 stages, the time taken can be anywhere from 4 weeks, which is more about sensing the data, could be around 8 to 10 weeks in terms of acting on the data, and around 12 weeks or so in terms of getting this implemented, trying to get the insight. So I think there's a great framework that we have, structure, workflow, which is there across the data platform, and how data moves and transforms itself from ingest, prepare, analyze, and act. However, the $1 million question, which really still dwells on everybody's mind, how do you enable and speed up enterprises across industries and help implement these models? Now, if you look at Intel, what we have done is we would try and simplify, put it into three basic parameters, which is there. The first and foremost is, can we simplify this technical complexity, right? We heard about OT, we heard about IoT, OT plus IT integration, and there are a lot of complexity around legacy applications and systems which are there. So first and foremost, can we try and simplify this complexity and also try and reduce, alleviate the cost burden? How do you do that? At Intel, what we do is first access to our pre-configured reference designs, which we have, right? Where we have validated software packages and hundreds of market-ready solutions. Essentially, what this MRS or market-ready solution help is they help to speed up the deployment. Also, this data, these solutions are repeatable and have also got proven edge cases. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel, essentially, how we call it, right? These case studies are built from very deep, varied industry expertise and collaboration. And they converge everything from AI to IoT data centers in box to smart cameras and to robotic arms. The second key aspect, what we think is there are hundreds of repeatable production ready packages for speedy deployment, right? As we said, we have helped many organizations and we continue to support them navigate the complexity of IoT in terms of to bring better business outcomes, right? Bridging the OT and IT divides, integrating them, migrating from brownfield environments and putting analytics and AI at the data source, which really helps them to deliver new business value. Today, if you look at it, our customers really benefit immensely from this expertise that we have developed along with our partners and system integrators like SAS and Inspira through hundreds of repeatable MRS. The third piece, which I would try to touch upon, is the edge deployments, right? This needs to be affordable, resilient, and secure, right? So that you're able to do it seamlessly across industries. Now, there could be various challenges in industrial vertical, if you call, right? It could be low or no bandwidth locations, you've got harsh conditions, you've got space constrained environments, and every edge has challenges that really complicates the exploration of new technologies. Yet, all share the need that they need to be affordable, they need to be resilient, and in today's environment, as we all know, they also need to be secure. So we've invested thousands of man hours across entire edge value chain, from builder to integrator to cloud and network provider to developer, right? We have aligned these use cases, fixed common integration headaches, and most significantly, this has resulted into hundreds of repeatable production ready packages, which helps you speed deployment and get revenue generated faster on the edge, right? While I've claimed a lot of stuff, but they say the proof of the pudding is in eating, right? So what are those use cases? I'll just try and touch upon few of them. I know it could be pertaining to your segment, few of them may be little alienated, but I think it would be good if we can go through few of them and see if it really makes sense in your environment. So first one, I know there's not a lot representation which is there from retail, but we believe that's an important vertical and we see a lot of innovations happening at that part. The first what we see is predictive inventory and supply chain control, right? Now today we have got ability where our machines can read codes, they can read text and numbers, right? Machine vision is widely used as an identification across wide range of industries, not only in retail, but I'm sure in manufacturing and others as well. And even in FSI, as Mridul was talking about, a lot of fintechs which are bringing up new innovations in terms of reading capabilities. Now, as I said, it is across verticals, right? It could be automotive, it could be consumer goods, it could be electronics, packaging, or as Ravi was mentioning, is very much there in pharma sector as well. Today, if you look at machine vision, it really helps you to manage, track, and analyze inventory levels, right? Ensuring that critical materials are in hand of those who need them the most. The second piece which we see across, and specifically I think pandemic has really expedited, is in terms of interactive display for customer experience and intelligence. Today there are a lot of digital signages which are available across, and there are a lot of interactive kiosks which are also there. They are intelligent, they are responsive, right? And also makes our experience more convenient and personalized. Now, today, if you look at the sensors of the latest generation camera, it absolutely makes it possible for kiosks to recognize product, to respond to touchless gestures, and even address the loss prevention, right? Today, retailers have enormous capacity in terms of vision and AI-powered analytics. The third one, which is typically seen around, is autonomous stores for contactless convenience, right? And specifically post-pandemic, I remember there was few videos which were circulated on social media in terms of saying how could you really make your purchase which is like absolutely contactless shopping, right? Here what essentially happens is data is flowing from supermarket shelves, carries important content like inventory, traffic flows to purchase frequency, the linger time, the time which customer spends on in the shop. And this, when this data is all combined along with your sensors, computer vision and robotics, it results into delivering increased automated checkout times or just walkout purchase experiences that we have. Not only this, but also, the current situation has also led us to a lot of loss prevention with video analytics and AI. So today, a lot of shoppers use footages which are streamlined, right? These are real-time analytics using on-premise edge gateways where machine learning can ideally potentially define what are the criminal behaviors in real time, right? They allow store security to be more proactive, put an immediate stop to either it could be shoplifting or label switching or any other critical criminal activities. So that's on the retail piece. If we quickly look upon the industrial piece, I think there are 3 or 4 use cases I'll try and quickly touch upon. The first most is the condition-based monitoring and predictive maintenance, right? We are all aware that machines really produce tremendous volumes of raw data. And I think Sunny also touched upon the kind of data that is produced. These are very costly and time prohibitive to send this massive volumes from central location to data center to get analyzed. Hence, today, hyper-converged data centers at the edge are very critical. They perform analytics real time at the edge, filter the data locally for faster time to get insights and asset conditioning. The second piece is the defect detection that we can do using machine vision, right? This technology really helps us to deliver highest quality product possible with help of machine vision, which cannot be captured by human eye or naked eye, could easily be done by machine vision. And really it helps us to analyze images, validate features, check for defects, which are in real time or near real time processing, right? And a lot of us spoke about quality assurance is absolutely streamlined, right? Resulting into a very low downtime, and even the defects are like next to negligible. We get into Six Sigma, 1 in million kind of a defect. The third piece is AI-based robotic, and I think there's a lot of discussion that will happen on robot processing automation, and there's been pretty streamlined. So I'm not trying to take too much time here, but what I would try to bring up is RPA systems today read constant streams of machine data to flag anomalies and perform raw material checks, track production hours, and this is all done with tremendous amount of low latency compute. The other two are typically around precision monitoring and control. So we all know how the precision monitoring works in real time. And the last one is augmented reality. And there's a lot of big discussion around AR, VR. So right from your wearables to handhold augmented realities, to your job safety trainings, to free complex assembly instructions, including your display of temperatures, vibrations, assistance to maintenance. I think a lot of stuff which gets included in AR, VR. The last piece is around visual services, and you see today with a lot of emerging stuff on the telco 5G being emerged, there's a lot of content delivery networks which have rapidly evolved and really transforms in terms of bringing rich visual experience to edge. And similarly, even if you see, as I spoke about, intelligent real-time video analytics, so analytics that can happen on real time. So these are few use cases that we work very extensively with industries across. Now, these are few of the customers. While I know each of them is a separate, unique use case in each of the verticals, but let me try and touch upon, see which are this customer development deployments that has happened in real world across industries. I'll just touch upon a couple of them. The one interesting part which I saw was our use case at Audi, right? At one of the Audi site, they assemble nearly 1,000 vehicles, and each day they have got approximately 5,000 wheels to make. Now, sorry, I think this is just automated right stuff. So if I stop doing my movement, it will just switch off. So intelligent and smart building. So 5,000 welds, they try and do it each day on each vehicle. Roughly, we're talking about 5 million welds that needs to be inspected every day. Now, what they did to overcome this massive challenge Audi started using Intel-based edge analytics, right, and machine learning. This really helped them to automate and enhance critical quality control processes. And in factory, it resulted into increased efficiency and reduced cost, right? With his implementation, I think our estimate, Audi really helped cut down the cost by massive 30 to 50% and boosted their weld inspection by 100x, which with 18 milliseconds of latency, right? That's the kind of speed that we are talking about. The second interesting use case is of, say, Momentum Retail brand, where they successfully converted, I think, more than 33% of customer sales by adding computer vision in around close to 6,000 stores, which really helped them to react in real time to the flow of people coming to the stores, tracking their path, and also tracking their heat maps. So these are kind of few of the case studies that we have. Now, the last thing which I wanted to quickly touch upon is how do we make this possible? This essentially happens with kind of the software and hardware solution, the portfolio that Intel has, and it becomes very important for both Intel and its partners in terms of bringing this technology and getting this implemented in this world of analytics, manufacturing, IoT, etc. First, I mean, let me touch upon in terms of just few bits on the analytics piece. First, we believe that analytics inside must be delivered at a lightning speed so that users can really make timely and informed decision, and which really helps us to bring out with stronger outcomes. However, this requires extraordinary computing power optimized across not only hardware but also software, application, and data. And that is why partners like SAS and Intel collaborate deeply on every new advancement which is there in data processing and analytics. Together today, both these organizations are ensuring that analytics users have nearly instant access to insights where they need to be smarter, need to be more decisive on various work streams, right? It could be on AI, streaming analytics, predictive analytics, IoT, and data management. So now let's quickly touch upon some cutting edge products and technologies that we have from Intel. On extreme right side, what you see is the process technology, right? Process everything. And that's the heart of any operations today you see. Now today with our latest third gen processors, which were codenamed as Ice Lake and launched a couple of quarters back, these are made even more performant in AI and analytics workload, right? Today, if you look at Intel's Xeon Scalable processor, they continue to be industry's only x86 processor, right? Which has got inbuilt feature integrated with AI accelerators through Intel Deep Learning Boost technology. Now, these Ice Lake processors have also new software optimization and turnkey solutions, which really harnesses the built-in AI accelerators and helps us to deliver significantly higher AI analytics performance compared to the prior generation. So apart from AI analytics, I think the second key feature, and which is critical to all of us, is the security piece. Now, the best part about this platform is it's got an integrated feature called Intel XGX, what we call software guard extension, right? This really helps to protect both your data and application code while in use, right? Both from edge to data center, and also helps us within multi-tenanted public cloud. With this, what we're trying to do is we are significantly increasing our ability to deliver enhanced security for sensitive data, be it based on cloud or be it your confidential computing environments. The second piece, which is the middle one, is the store more part, right? Here we got two cutting edge products which we've got, and they're all based on a path breaking technology or innovative technology, what we call Optane. Now, Sunny spoke about in-memory database, and specifically when he was talking about SAP HANA and then big data through Hadoop. Now, SAP HANA and a lot of our partners really leverage on this technology of Intel persistent memory, right? Persistent in the sense it is unlike your normal memory, which is volatile in nature. Here, the memory persists irrespective of the power status, right? So here, Intel persistent memory provides you large capacity and native persistent to extract more value from your larger data sets and increase the agility with data closer to the CPU, so it does not have to hop cycles, and get it in secured and reliable manner. Similarly, like Intel persistent memory, we've also got SSD drives, which provides you large storage capacity and have got very high IOPS. So the moot question is this validated? Is this compatible with, say, for example, SAS analytics platform? And answer is absolutely yes. In fact, when SAS via runs obtained DC persistent memory, users have shown considerable and measurable improvements in performance, speed, and overall TCO, or what we call total cost of ownership. The third aspect, which you see on extreme left-hand side, is in terms of networking, right? Process everything fast, store everything fast, and also it needs to move faster, right? As part of this, what we do is there's some amazing innovative products that are there, which really helps you, whether it is your east west within your DC traffic or north south, which is outside of your data center. And as important as underlying hardware foundation, we also believe that software is equally important. Now, if you look at the co-engineering efforts that has been done both by Intel and SAS, it really allows SAS solution to take advantage of high parallelism in Intel architecture and enhance performance and scalability, right? SAS also uses a lot of Intel parallel XC Studio in its product, and also provides custom build library based on Intel MKL, or what we call math kernel library. Also, SAS uses their deep learning solution, which are optimized for Intel Xeon processors with MKL DNN libraries, right? To sum it up, I think the partnership that we have with SAS and with Inspira, and specifically with SAS, we have got like more than 20 years of partnership, and we collaborate extensively to ensure world-leading analytics solution. And really, our customer are able to take full advantage of both our latest innovations, product, and platform capabilities. So I end my case here. Hope you found this session to be very interesting and worth your time. Please do reach out to us, and we would be more than keen to partner with your organization in terms of providing real world value. Thank you once again for your time, and best wishes to you and loved ones. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram. And I must compliment you for the lights that you have. Very interesting, very digital.
Yeah, so we don't only preach the world, we also eat our own dog food. This is part of smart building.
But you are preaching.
Absolutely, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. I now open the house for questions, and we are much over time, much over the stipulated time, but I still think we can take a couple of questions, keeping in mind the sentiment of the participants here. And I would request whoever takes up the question to be really brief, 30 seconds to be precise. Now, the first question that I would want to take up is from Mr. Chandrakant. He asks, how does SAS IoT and QA suite connect with real-time changes coming from the engineering department and external factors like customers or vendors? 30 seconds. Gentlemen, who would want to take up this question?
Okay, so quick answer for that particular question is, now when we talk about bridging the two worlds, right? One is you're talking about going ahead and collecting the real-time data from your engineering department, and then you're also talking about going ahead and collecting your batch data as well, right? So there is an integration between these two, and SAS IoT, AIoT, and QA suite has a component called as SAS event stream processing. That's the bridge. So that is what will connect to your engineering department systems and anything which is coming in on a real-time streaming window from the customer side as well, right? So that's how we connect and collect all of that information on a real time, and then pass on all of those insights to the AIoT bundle, right? So that's the answer.
Right. Thank you, Nabuat. And now the second question is from Mr. Viraj Sharma. Very interesting question, and something that you can really contribute to. His question is, in order to get all these inputs from your processes to help make a pattern of performance and take actions, it seems you must have all input processes fully digitalized, sensors, etc. For a mid or a small sized company, which may not be able to invest in such key processes or digitalize them, how can they be part of this journey? What do you recommend as the starting point? Very interesting question.
I can take that question, maybe, Bill. This is actually a very important question for organizations of, mid-tier and larger organizations. Also, as I was mentioning, as part of, the analytics journey or the data strategy journey, it's extremely important to identify the right use cases. If in case you're starting now, what are the first set of use cases that you would want to start off with, and what is the required data that you need to put up in order to deliver that use case is extremely critical. once you start getting the outputs or the required outputs of the endeavored use case, is then you start scaling out, and then the overall journey, you don't have to put in the sensors from day one, right? It may also be that some of your systems are there which are already connected, so pick up those areas. So what we do is eventually create a simple, medium, and complex kind of a structure as part of the MASP program also. So that is something that can be taken up.
Right. So, friends, thanks. A big thanks to all of you. It has been a wonderfully insightful talk. However, as you already see, we are well past the anointed time, and we really need to wrap this up. I already see a host of questions. This again goes to show the level of interest and excitement that is there in this virtual gathering. However, we will really have to call it a day. I would request all of you, because I see all these questions teaming in front of me, to get in touch with the representatives here, or alternatively, you could also get in touch with us. Thank you all for joining us today. And I would like to thank our partners, SAS, Intel, and Inspira, without whose support this discussion would not have been possible. Please fill up the feedback form on your way out. It will help us immensely in improving the platform and making it more engaging. Have a great day ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mukbil, and thank you, ETCIO team, for hosting us. I think wonderful session. And if you could share the questions, we'll try and also answer to each of those participants to best of our capabilities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you are really paving the way for going digital, Vikram.
Absolutely, Mukbil. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patient listening. Wish you a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all. Bye-bye.